It's Riter Radio.
.434 it is, Riter Radio, taking you up until 6 o'clock. Chris Smith typically joins us in this time slot, and he was going to arm wrestle Dave DiPietro for an hour, but he couldn't make it into town today, so that gets called off. And Chris is kind enough to say, is there anything else I can do to help, to fill up your show? And I said, well, there's no way I could possibly do my show without Mark Poloncarz. So we brought in Erie County Controller and now candidate for Erie County Executive. Mark Poloncarz, kind enough to join us in studio. What's happening? How are you?
Well, first off, it's my pleasure to be here, Brad. It's good to be back at WECK.
Good to have you.
And things are going well. We kicked off the candidacy for County Executive on Saturday morning in front of the hometown Lackawanna Library, and then we traveled 5 other areas across the county, met hundreds of people. People are enthused. They're looking for new leadership. They're looking to restore government of the people in Erie County. Have a county executive that represents all of us, not just someone like Chris Collins who rules as he sees fit and ignore what the public wants.
How long? Okay, you kicked off the campaign officially. How long have you been? How long have you been locked in on this? Because you didn't wake up on Friday and say, let's have a thing tomorrow. Let's start this. How long has this been going?
Well, truthfully, the big event, of course, was Saturday. Now, I've been talking behind the scenes with people that I trust, advisors in both the political and business world, and just friends that I've known for many years, and talking, should I do this? What do I need to do? Is this in the best interest? I was elected Erie County's comptroller at the height of the red green fiscal crisis in 2005, and I was elected to clean up the mess of the red green fiscal crisis, and I did that. And Erie County turned the corner. We're headed in the right direction. But there are some things that this county executive is doing right now that could put us right back where we were with the red green fiscal crisis. We have to make the right decisions today, and that's one of the reasons why I'm running, is because I don't like what Chris Collins is doing from a standpoint of managing the county's finances. We need a county executive who represents all of the county, urban, suburban, rural. As I say, my hometown's Lackawanna. I live now in the city of Buffalo. We need a county executive who understands that Erie County is more than Spalding Lake and Clarence, where Chris comes from. It's Alden, Sardinia, and Brant in the rural areas. It's the city of Buffalo, town of Cheektowaga. It's everywhere from Grand Island in the north to Concord in Sardinia in the I guess that would be southeast of Erie County, and everything in between. And I don't think we have that with the current county executive. So I've been talking with folks for a couple months now, gauging their opinions and thinking that this is the right race for me. So I announced this past weekend.
When you look at what Chris Collins has done, what specifically do you see that is showing favoritism to certain areas and lack of interest in other areas?
Well, first off, just the complete decimation of services for the inner city. Getting rid of the health clinics, getting rid of the WECK program, getting rid of daycare subsidies for parents such that they had to quit their jobs and get on Medicaid just so that they could afford to actually provide daycare for their children. And the funny thing, it's interesting, people talk about health clinics. Well, the cost of health is in providing good health care is exceptionally high. We all know that. We see it in our private lives. We had 2 health clinics in the city of Buffalo that Chris closed. At the same time, the Republican county executive of Chemung County, down in the southern tier, opened up a health clinic, and the reason for it is he wants his citizens who are on Medicaid to go into a managed care facility that the county has, so that the county, so to speak, is their primary care physician. So they're not going to the equivalent of ECMC or Kaleida or the Catholic health system's emergency rooms for a runny nose for their kid, where it's going to cost hundreds to $1,000 for one visit when they could go to a clinic, being a Medicaid patient, and having the county manage their care, give them the appropriate medications, and it costs them $50. And that's the proactive things I want. I'm not afraid to take the best ideas from other people, regardless of what political party they are. As I said, here's an example, a Republican county executive from another county in New York State opening a clinic to take care and address the needs of his constituents to save their taxpayers' money, while we're doing the opposite, and it ends up costing us in the long run. Chris refused to spend the stimulus money. He got $40 million in 2009, over $40 million in 2010, and then we get another approximately 13 to 15 this year. And in 2010, his State of the County, he proudly stated, I did not spend a penny of it. That money was meant to stimulate the economy. We've cut hundreds of jobs in county government. We could have created jobs through new construction projects. The reason he didn't spend that money is so he could save his own job by padding our surpluses. Now what is Chris doing in an election year? Surprise, he's starting to spend some of that money because he realizes, oops, I should have stimulated the economy and put people to work. People are hurting out there, so I'll spend a little of it now and hope that people don't realize that I didn't spend the vast majority of it over the last 2 years.
I don't need to make your case for you because I'm sure you'll do that yourself leading up to the election starting this past Saturday, but county executive is primarily a position based around finances, right? I mean, what you have done since 2005 very clearly is that this is the next logical step, it seems to me anyway, as a layman.
Well, my role now is Erie County Controller. I'm the Chief Financial, Chief Accounting, Chief Auditing, Chief Revenue Collection Officer for Erie County. County Executive is the Chief Executive Officer, Chief Budget Officer. I don't think there's anybody in county government who understands the finances of county government as well as I do, perhaps other than the Budget Director. I've had my hands in the muck, so to speak, since I was elected, took office on January 1st, 2006. And I think people remember where we were back then. We were coming off the red-green financial disaster. The county had just had the control board put in place. It looked like it was never going to turn the corner. And in a very short period of time, truthfully, even before Chris was elected, we had started doing the things that were necessary to ensure that Erie County was headed down the right road. So now I look at it and say, okay, I helped clean up the mess of the red-green fiscal crisis. I don't like where we're headed today. Part of the problem we got in the fiscal crisis to begin with is the prior county executive used old surpluses to balance his budgets in future years. When Dennis Gorski left office as county executive, there was a $200 million surplus. It was $250 million in tobacco settlement proceeds. Those proceeds were supposed to last 20 years. They didn't last more than 4 or 5. The surplus that was $200 million was gone within a 5-year period because Joel Giambra used that to balance the budgets when he went on a spending spree and reduced taxes. County Executive Collins is doing the same thing. He just started doing it. This 2011 budget, it balances on paper, and very barely balances, but he uses $17 million of prior year's stimulus money, or it's not stimulus, surplus money, some way stimulus money, to balance the 2011 budget. That means we are actually not being able to pay our reoccurring expenses with our reoccurring revenues. Put another way, last year we ended up with a $23 million surplus. That's great, except we received $40 million of stimulus money. If we had not received the stimulus money...
Oh, I know this one. 17 in the hole.
We would have been 17 in the hole. Yes, he gets a little check mark.
I can do this.
This is grade school if you take that home and put it on the refrigerator.
It's perfect, right?
Yes. So that's an example of why I don't think he's managing our money properly. I think Chris Collins has failed in the basic responsibility of what an elected official is supposed to do in the first place, which is serve the public, not rule over it.
Is there a quick answer to the first thing that needs to be done, the first thing that needs to be changed?
Well, there's no quick answers. It's a $1.5 billion budget. And when it comes down to being an elected official or a public servant, I've always said it's 2 basic questions that you ask the public. Number one, what services do you want? And, of course, everybody wants everything. The second question is a tough one to answer. Okay, what are you willing to pay for it? Do you want libraries? Do we want to have an excellent library system, an award-winning library system? Do you want arts and cultural organizations? Do you want to ensure that we have adequate roads and sheriff's deputies? The problem that I disagree with Chris in the ways he's managed is at the time he's cut librarians, sheriff's deputies, correctional officers, probation officers, basic safety issues, rodent control officers. So if you see a rat running down your yard, you usually would call county government to say, I need help cleaning this up. The rat ran across the street to my neighbor's yard.
Right.
They're gone. But what he did is he gave a $50,000 raise to his county attorney. He created a $130,000 real estate expert job that the control board says we don't even need anymore. So at the same time he was creating new jobs and giving raises to his high-level patronage employees, he was cutting civil servants who actually perform services for the people of Erie County. That's wrong. I mean, I did not get in this business to make money. I don't think anybody in public service is in it to make money. I practiced law as a business and finance attorney beforehand. I can tell you right now, I took a pay cut to take this job, and I've not had a raise since this job has started, and I'd be making a lot more money if I went to the private sector and started practicing finance law again. I'm not in it for the money. People in public service are not in it for the money, and if you say I have to pay my employees top dollar to get them here in government, well, I say there's other good qualified people out there who will work for less and serve the public, and we can use those other funds for other services that are truthfully needed.
Is the patronage argument one that is made by everyone who's running against an incumbent, though? Because let's say you get in there a few years from now, I'm looking at the people surround you, or who surround you, and if I've got my facts in order, I bet I can make connections to your past, that you know this person from there and you know this person from there. I mean, it's a pretty standard argument to make, right?
Yeah, I would look at it this way. I remember when Jimmy Griffin was mayor and he got criticized for having friends in government. And his response was, well, what do you expect me to do, hire my enemies?
Right.
My response is, you hire qualified individuals. You don't give them raises that are unnecessary. The county attorney today is now getting paid $150,000, the most any county attorney has ever gotten paid beforehand. People who had many, many years of experience compared to the current county attorney who just started, making much less. Larry Rubin. Larry's an attorney I know. He was the county attorney under Joel Giambra. Larry was making, I think, $30,000 less than the current county attorney is, and Larry had years of experience. He was former corporation counsel of the city of Buffalo. He had worked on many organizations. Should Larry Rubin have been making about $120,000? You could justifiably say that after so many years of experience. Should the new county attorney, who'd never spent a day in government before, be making $150,000? And here's the sad part. Chris ignores what other branches of government do. He wanted a $150,000 job. The legislature cut it back down to $99,000. Judge Glowney, a New York State Supreme Court judge, said that's true. The legislature could do that. What did Chris do? He ignored it. He wanted to pay him $150,000. I refused paying him $150,000. I said the legislature cut the job to $99. That's what he's entitled to. I'll pay him at $99. They took me to court, saying no, we're going to pay him $150. Chris is out of touch. People are hurting. The sad part is he's trying to be divisive, pitting urban versus suburban while neglecting the constituents in our rural communities. You drive out to the South Towns, drive on Evans Eden Center Road. It's like driving on the moon. It looked like meteors struck there. That's a county road, and the people hear about it all the time. Chris is out there saying all the roads in Erie County are great. Well, I think the only roads that Chris travels from are from his home in Clarence downtown, because he's not seeing the rest of the county, which is hurting. We need a county executive who's going to measure how this community is doing, not by the size of his own bank account, but by whether people can make it. And that's what I will do as county executive, and I don't believe Chris Collins has.
All right. Long way to Election Day, man. You got a lot to say.
November 8th.
Between now and then. Wow. All right. Mark Poloncarz is here, Erie County Comptroller, who is also a candidate for Erie County Executive. We'll take a break. We'll be right back. Stay tuned. More of Riter Radio coming up. Let's get another check of time saver traffic. For that, here is Leah Militello.
And, Brad, we still have Tonawanda Creek Road closed between Transit Road and New Road because of an accident involving a truck that hit a telephone pole and knocked down some wires, and they're working on that as we speak. Watch out for an accident with injuries, Delaware and Summer, also at Cordova and Lisbon. They just towed away a pickup truck that was stalled out at the beginning of the ramp from the 190 south to the outbound Skyway. So all lanes there are open. You shouldn't have any more problems or delays. Now we're looking at the northbound 190, very slow approaching Niagara Street. It's going to stay with you up past the 198. There is a minor crash at Potters and Slade in West Seneca and at Route 5 in Amstel in Hamburg. 190 north before Sheridan Drive, reports of a crash there, and William and Bailey, there's also a minor accident. I'm Leah Militello with your time saver traffic.
Last time on the Dennis Miller Show.
They're saying now that waterboarding didn't break Caleb Sheikh Mohammed. Of course not. It was the nicer interrogation that broke him down. We didn't have to use the hard stuff. Anna Quinlan came over with some tea cakes and scones, and Maya Angelou put on a Snuggie and read Quranic passages. Well, they had a little, some Chuck Mangione.
The Dennis Miller Show on Hometown 1230 WECK.
Hi, it's Brad Riter here with a question for you. Are you looking out the window at your yard and thinking, this is wet, this is unusable, I'm having a problem? I can solve that for you. Call my friends at PCS Plumbing. They can put in a yard drainage or bubbler system, and that can help to eliminate those problems. A properly installed system can be very affordable and will assist in drying your yard more quickly. PCS Plumbing, give them a call today. Pat and Chris will take care of you at 685-0710. All work performed by a licensed, insured, professional, Better Business Bureau accredited contractor. Free estimates, permits, and inspections are included, and their work is guaranteed. Also, springtime, a great time to tune up your air conditioning system. They've got a 10-point checklist. They'll run it through. Call for an appointment or a free estimate. Mention WECK 1230 or tell them Brad Riter sent you to PCS Plumbing, 685-0710. Call today, PCS Plumbing.
It's one of the few guarantees we have in life. We all age. You feel the same way you've always felt, youthful and energetic. But who says you can't have wisdom and that youthful look, too? Consider safe, effective, and affordable laser treatments from Cosmetic Laser Center of Western New York. It's a state-of-the-art laser treatment center, including laser hair removal, vein treatments, skin tightening, tattoo removal, laser toe fungus removal, and wrinkle reduction. It's safe, effective, and affordable. But don't just take their word for it. Just listen to these satisfied customers.
My skin looks fantastic. I've received numerous compliments on how refreshed my skin looks. I will definitely recommend to my friends and family.
Very reasonable pricing and excellent staff. The initial consultation was free and non-pressured.
So don't wait another day. You've already got all the wisdom you need. Now make the wise choice and call Cosmetic Laser Center of Western New York for your free consultation and computerized facial analysis. Call 478-0225 or go online to WNYlaser.com.
Attention parents. If your son is 11 to 17 years old and exhibits oppositional or defiant behavior patterns, we want to prove that our best-selling child behavior program, The Total Transformation, will work for you. And we're willing to give it to you for free. For a limited time, we are offering the entire program free if you're the parent of an 11 to 17-year-old male child as part of a national market research project. If you're struggling with disrespect, backtalk, lying, school problems, or defiant behavior, you can get the Total Transformation free by calling 1-800-488-7532. Call now and find out how you can participate in this limited-time market research project. By sending in your results, you'll get our $300 child behavior program for free. Limited number of free programs available. Call now. 1-800-488-7532. 1-800-488-7532. That's 1-800-488-7532. 1-800-488-7532.
Rent the equipment, keep the advice. Taylor Rental. As hard as it is to believe, the warm weather is on the way, and with warm weather comes outdoor parties. But you know, parties mean guests. You need to have a place to put those guests. You could try to squeeze them all in your house, or you could do the smart thing. Have it outdoors and call Taylor Rental. They've got all the tents, tables, chairs, and more that you'll need for your outdoor party or barbecue. Just go to TaylorRentalDepew.com. And don't forget Taylor Rental delivers. That's Taylor Rental, 681-0860. Taylor Rental. They rent everything but elephants.
I saw the sign, and it opened my eyes. It's Riter Radio.
I saw the sign.
We continue with Riter Radio. Mark Poloncarz is here, Erie County Comptroller and also candidate for Erie County Executive. We were just talking during the break, and you announced your candidacy on Saturday. And I said, what does it take for you to, I don't know, get on the ballot is an easy way to put it, but what's the process now for you? So just if you could share that with people to let them know, what does it take to isolate Poloncarz versus Collins on November 8th?
Well, now that I'm out, I'm a Democrat. I don't think anybody.
I knew that.
Most people know that. Chris Collins is Republican. If we're endorsed by our own parties and no one else runs and there's no primary, that's it. We run in November. If by chance somebody should run against us in our own Democratic Party, then we have a primary, and you have to win the primary to be the candidate. But if nobody else runs, you got to petition. You got to have a certain amount of signatures. You got to get 2,000 signatures. Once you get the 2,000 signatures, you're endorsed. You get nobody else running against you. You're the candidate for November.
How does it work? Like, how do you know that, not how do you know, how is it that you assume that you won't have someone against you, I guess is what I'm asking. What, could someone just pop up out of nowhere? Is that
Well, they'd have to,
feasible?
They'd have to petition their way into the ballot. So let's say, and I'm going to have to do it too. I'm going to have my volunteers out there asking folks to sign a petition stating that they want Mark Poloncarz to run for county executive. And for an Erie County race, you need to get 2,000 signatures. Now, you always try to get double or triple that because, you know, there's always someone who's trying to throw you off the ballot. But let's say I do that. And there's a guy, let's say a woman named Jane Smith, who decides she wants to run for Erie County executive as a Democrat. Well, first off, she has to be a Democrat. She just can't do it if she's a different or not affiliated or from a different party. She has to be a Democrat, and she actually has to go out and get 2,000 signatures from Democrats to run a primary against me. Same thing with a Republican. Chris Collins is a Republican. He's got to get 2,000 signatures from Republicans stating they want him to be their candidate. And if Jane Smith is a Republican and she wants to run for Erie County Executive, then she's got to run in a primary against Chris Collins. Whoever wins that primary then would be the candidate in November.
So you feel pretty good. You're at least you're off to a good start.
I feel good.
Clubhouse leader.
I'd say the clubhouse leader. Yeah, I like that. But I want to be the clubhouse leader at the end.
Right. That's a big deal.
Yeah. I'm a golfer. I love golf, and I'd come in with some good scores, and then watch somebody come in a stroke or two below me, and like, oh boy, I gave my best, but it didn't happen. So I want to be a clubhouse leader on November 8th. But to do that, you have to do everything between now.
Well, what is that? What does that entail? I joked you've got some work to do between now and the end of November. It's only May. What now? What tomorrow?
As we were saying,
and
I said this is going to be the shortest long period. Every day is going to be the longest of the year, and it's going to fly by because it's just going to fly by. There's so much to do. We're going to be setting up a headquarters very soon. We'll be announcing that, and after that, we're going to be getting volunteers. The volunteers are going to be calling folks. They're going to be going door to door. I'm going to be going to lots of events, which I've already started.
Yeah.
And I'm used to it, having run 2 countywide campaigns before. And we're talking about all kinds of events, chicken barbecues, lawn fetes, I mean, you name it, plus also community organizations that ask me to come and talk. And then there'll be debates, or there'll be forums. I mean, I'm hoping there'll be lots of debates between myself and Chris Collins so we can talk about the issues that matter. But you'll get forums from League of Women Voters organizations and Rotary clubs that say we would like the candidates to come in. Maybe not a debate per se, but you each get 10 minutes to talk, answer some questions, and that's it. So we'll be doing hundreds of events between now and Election Day. And as I said, every day is going to be very long, but it's going to be the shortest year of my life because it'll just fly by.
Well, you've still got a lot of work to do in addition to the part where you're trying to get a new job. That's the tough part, balancing those two things, right?
I have a day job as Erie County's comptroller, and today our office issued a report in regards to a bid that was awarded to an architectural firm for the new building that's been proposed for the Erie Community College North Campus. I have a whistleblower hotline. People can anonymously send tips through the phone number, 858-7522, or whistleblower@erie.gov. And we got 2 whistleblower tips that said that they thought there were problems on how this bid was awarded. And we were dealing with the Collins administration. They truthfully didn't want to provide us all the information up front, but they did. And in the end, we found out that of the 7 finalists, architectural firms, most of them all well-known in the Buffalo area who did work on behalf of the county before, the 6th most expensive was chosen. There were 5 other bidders that responded. Actually, there were originally 37 that started, and it was reduced to 7 finalists.
Okay.
And of the 7 finalists, the 6th most expensive was chosen. And that bid, though I can't say the exact amount because of confidential information, that bid was at least $500,000 more, but less than $1 million more than the lowest bid. As I said to a reporter who called me on this earlier today, I said, something's smelly here, and it's not roses. It smells fishy. That's the kind of stuff we do in the comptroller's office. We audit. We're the watchdog. And if you're doing things right in county government, you shouldn't care that the watchdog's there. Chris Collins gutted my department last year in the budget debate. The control board restored some of the jobs. I've said, as Erie County executive, I will restore the job level to what it was at the end of last year, because as executive, if you're doing a good job, you don't care that the watchdog's there. You're actually happy that the watchdog's there. Because if you've got nothing to hide and you're doing things right, it doesn't matter if somebody's looking over your shoulder. It's government. Somebody should be looking over your shoulder. I mean, look at what was the indictment that was just brought down against Brian Davis, the Buffalo council member.
It's amazing how I knew what the name was going to be when I just saw indictment for common council. This couldn't possibly. Oh, look. Yes, it is.
But that's a perfect example why you need watchdogs.
Yeah.
But if you're doing things right, I don't care. Let somebody look over my shoulder. You're not going to find anything wrong because everything's being done on the up and up. This review that we issued today, something's not right there. And I've already reached out to members of the control board, and they don't like this because I don't know why this was done, but we in government are supposed to provide services as efficiently as possible. And you don't always go with the lowest bidder on a contract because sometimes the lowest bidder does not necessarily meet all the other qualifications.
Right.
But there were 37 initial firms, and it was whittled down to 7 finalists, all well-known, reputable architectural firms in the Buffalo area. Why did we go with the 6th most expensive that was at least $500,000 more than the other one? Those are questions that need to be asked. And that's what I do in the controller's office every day. Not only balance the books and pay the county's bills, but audit the finances, audit what's being done to ensure that your money's being spent as wisely as possible.
You are no stranger to battling Chris Collins, and that's what's going to make this so interesting from now through November. You guys are ready for this on both sides. We've seen this brewing for a while, and I'm looking forward to it. And thank you very much for coming in. Looking forward to talking to you down the road. Mark Poloncarz, thank you.
It's my pleasure, Brad.
Mark Poloncarz, Erie County Controller and candidate for Erie County Executive. Break time. We'll be right back with more Riter Radio. Stay tuned.